evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight? What's going on? Thank you. Yes. My name is Craig Goldberg. I'm the senior project teacher here at Oliver Ames High School. I want to thank you all for coming to our 4th annual community night. Tonight is a really special night. It's a nice night where our kids introduce what they're going to be doing for the year. And the way I described this night to our kids on the first day of school was, after this night, things get real. After tonight, things are going to get very real. It's no longer a plan in your head or what you want to do. Now there's going to be some action behind it. And it's really exciting. It's just a nice night to let everybody know this is our plan for the year. So my name is Craig Goldberg. I'm a teacher here at Oliver Ames High School. This is my 8th year, or 9th year, 1 and 2, at Oliver Ames High School. And this is the 4th year we're running Senior Project. So a little bit of history with Senior Project. I have a friend of mine who teaches over in Mansfield, and they do something like this. And after talking with him one day, describing what they do with this course, my first thought was we have to do something like this. And so I went to Mr. Paul, and within a year, we had this thing laid out, and we started it. And that was 4 years ago that the first group went through. And it's a really amazing course. It's totally different and unique because it allows students to totally explore an opportunity that they want to outside of the classroom. So my guiding philosophy is always, if you're passionate about something, there's bound to be something there for you to explore. And as you'll see tonight, with our 13 students, that is definitely the case. So we have 13 totally individual projects, 13 things that are very personal to each kid, and they're going to spend the next 8 months exploring that field, some totally new to it, some with some experience, but always looking to grow and stretch their knowledge having to do with it. So this is our group. We'll be introducing them shortly. I first want to spend a couple of minutes and just take you through the course. It's a little abstract, the course itself. What we do on a day-to-day basis is definitely different than some others. So I do want to spend some time talking about what exactly is Senior Project. I want to give you an idea of daily work and expectations, the role of the mentor, who some students are actually meeting theirs for the first time tonight. And then most importantly, I want you all to get a sense of what each kid plans on doing this year, and they'll tell you a little bit about what that is. So there are 4 major components to the Senior Project. The first is fieldwork, really starting today and moving forward. Students complete 40 hours of fieldwork, 20 in term 2, 20 in term 3, and in term 4 they present what's going to be the final presentation. They do these 40 hours under the guidance of a mentor, someone who has some expertise in a field that they are interested in. They will also start a 8 to 10 page research paper in the next couple of weeks, not about their project, but related to their project. We take it very slow over several months with asking questions and then researching, chipping away at the writing piece by piece, ultimately with a plan of how exactly they want to approach whatever it is they're writing about. Third is a digital portfolio, which you can actually access and look at after we're done tonight. In the back, you'll see all those Chromebooks out there. Just hit the space bar. It'll take you to our main Senior Project website, and you can click on any of the 13 students, and their personal digital portfolio will be up there. It's kind of bare bones right now because I haven't started the project yet, but you will see stuff on there. By the end of the year, by the time we get to our final presentation, it will be totally jam-packed with journal entries, pull quotes, artifacts, time logs. There's already a beginning of the year video on there, but there'll be an end of the year reflective video. So it'll be really full of amazing material on there. So that final presentation at the end of the year, this 12 to 15 minute presentation, is a capstone and is the culminating aspect of the Senior Project, where students present to a panel of teachers, an administrator, and a community member. And really getting all the stakeholders and all the people in the room here tonight, essentially, to be a part of this, what really is a celebration of what kids have done throughout this year. It's a really special day. It's actually my favorite day of the year. This is my second favorite day, but as of right now, it's my favorite day until we reach that point. Because it's so nice to see our kids do what they said they were going to do. It's really awesome. So the projects can be just about anything. It could be a physical product, a written product, a performance, physical experience, career-related. You're going to see in what students are presenting about tonight, what they plan on doing. It's all or some of these things. Again, just going back to my philosophy of if you're passionate about something, if you care about something, there's going to be something here for you to do. The key is that every single project has what I call a learning stretch. So inside of that little red brochure in front of you, next to each kid when they present in a little bit, there's a learning stretch. And it always begins with my learning stretch will consist of. Meaning, how am I going to grow as a student this year? I'm going to start out here, I'm going to end up here. How exactly am I going to do it? At the end of the year, I'll revise these, and it will say my learning stretch consisted of, because they will have accomplished it, or they will have done this. So for right now, it's how am I going to accomplish what I set out to do for the year? It has to be challenging, and certainly allow students to grow, but it also has to be achievable. And that's where the role of mentor comes in, and that's where I come in to either tell students, hey, let's bring this up a little bit. I think you can get a little more out of it. Or shooting for the stars, great, go for it, but let's bring something more realistic, and if you want to go above that, hey, that's fine. So the topic must explore something that is new and challenging to each student what they want to explore in the year. So day to day, class is very laid back. It's awesome, it's fun to see kids come in, and we'll do a combination of one or multiple of these things on a day-to-day basis. Longer term assignments through discussions, goals, reflections, written work, research, writing using research. I'm always trying to think through reading, writing, speaking, and listening. How can we do those in any given 7-day cycle as many times as possible? So tomorrow, my kids will come in, we'll form a big circle, and the class will be, let's talk for 50 minutes about how exactly did tonight go. And it's always fun to hear these reflective experiences, what students experience and what they got out of it, and how they could do things differently, and how they thought they did better at things than they thought they could actually do. So that's just an example of something we'll do. We'll do a journal later on in the week to get all those things that we talked about actually into writing, and that'll form a component of what will be their digital portfolio. So all these things come together. The last thing I want to talk about before we actually introduce our kids is mentors. Mentors are vital to this process. Every student is tasked with getting a mentor. Some people knew people ahead of time. Some did random searches on the internet and found people. Some got their mentor through connections of people that they knew. But they all end up with a mentor. Someone who is an expert, has some sort of area of expertise in the field in which they are part of. These individuals, in some cases, they work directly with them. In some cases, they're seen as a sounding board. In some cases, they evaluate student skills. But in all cases, there's a relationship that gets built to allow students to accomplish what they set out to do in an area that is interesting to them. So with that, I would like to call up our senior project students. You can clap for them, it's all right. We do ask, if possible, please, if you could just hold your applause till all 13 are done, just to allow the flow of the night to go through. So each project is going to present for about 2 or so minutes, tell you a little bit about their project, what they plan on doing for the year, tell you about their learning stretch, their mentor. It's a lot to cram into 2 minutes, but they do it so well. We practice this today here, we practiced it last week in my classroom, and these are the stars of the show, everybody.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Badgerin, and my senior project will revolve around partnering with a Syrian refugee camp in Lebanon in order to explore foreign relations and raise awareness to those underprivileged in a land foreign to their own, thus assisting their financial standings. I aspire to enact such a project because I was able to visualize the hardships Syrian refugees undergo in their daily lives while visiting Lebanon in 2016 and can slightly connect to their struggles because of my experience of being rushed out of Lebanon in the midst of the 2006 Lebanese war. My mentor is Allison Fada, a family friend who I met at St. Teresa Church. My learning stretch will consist of raising awareness for and spreading funds for Syrian refugees through organizing a community fundraiser. My research paper will consist of analyzing why individuals are so reluctant into allowing outsiders from residing in their land, and as a result of such actions, why a sense of hatred is targeted towards a group of individuals. By taking advantage of my mentor's fluency in Arabic, we will be able to break any language barriers that come across our way. Also, by taking advantage of my mentor's connections to an organization known as the Karam Foundation, an organization that focuses on assisting Syrian refugees residing in Lebanon, Turkey, and even the United States, I will learn how to better assist such individuals. I wanted to end off my presentation by thanking you all for all your support and especially for this opportunity that allows me to enact a project that means so much to my background, something that I possibly could not have done without such time allotted to me. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Anthony DeFeo-Gellner, and my senior project will be focusing on the area of jazz composition. I've always thought some place in my musicianship that's been lacking or neglected is that compositional aspect, because I spend so much time learning other people's compositions, and I want to take this to the next level and learn completely from scratch how to create effective melodies and how to create effective progressions and marry those two together to create my own original compositions. And so my learning stretch will consist of expanding my knowledge of music theory by writing and recording my own original compositions. At the end of the project, I plan to record an album with my jazz quartet, showcasing my best original work. I'll be working with my mentor, Brett Wahlberg, who is an internationally acclaimed jazz saxophonist and composer. And with him, I'll be studying Mark Levine's jazz theory book and other textbooks and just getting as much experience as possible composing itself. And I'm just super excited to see where this project takes me. My research paper that goes along with this is going to be exploring famous jazz composers and what makes their tunes so memorable and such a standard in the idiom, and delving deeper into what makes a jazz song a good one, essentially. So I'd like to end this off by just thanking everyone that makes this course possible, and I can't wait to see where it takes me.
Hi everyone, my name is David Fedorchik, and my senior project will focus on the medical field, and more specifically the pharmaceutical aspect of all this. My learning stretch will consist of studying how the production of medication combats viruses, while running a nonprofit organization that will raise funds for people affected by medical hardship. In order to complete my project, I'll be studying extensively with my mentor, Priya Gandhi. Ms. Gandhi works at a Harvard lab and has a great background on the pharmaceutical process behind curing Zika. So I wanted to pick a topic that my mentor is very well versed on so that I could learn the most about this topic. For my research paper, I'll combine all this information to look for necessary improvements in this field. I want to talk a lot about how technological improvements and greater funding will help make it easier for pharmacy researchers to create medications and to cure other diseases that haven't been cured yet. For my self-reflection, you may be wondering why I chose pharmacy, and it's something I can answer by saying I've always wanted to do something medical in the future, and I figured I might as well start now. I want to get a better understanding of what I'm getting myself into so that I don't look back later in life and think, wow, why did I pick that? So I want to understand what I'm getting myself into so I don't have any regrets later in life. I wanted to finish off by saying thank you for listening to my presentation, and thank you to everyone who helps me along the way.
Hello, my name is Grace Gaultier, and my project focuses on physical therapy and the track one can take to maintain a healthy life. I will be creating a health plan, which I will relay on different parts of social media, and I will also be running a fundraiser at the end of the year to support Boston Children's Hospital. My fundraiser will be a figure skating fundraiser because that is one of my big passions is figure skating, and also the medical field, which is why I chose physical therapy. I will be shadowing my mentor for my fieldwork, Ariel Hovland, at Marathon Physical Therapy. And while shadowing, I will be hopefully following patients through their recovery from the beginning to end to try and determine the effect that sports have on one's body. By doing all of this, I will be fulfilling my learning stretch, which will consist of planning and running a fundraising event while studying the connection between exercise, sports, and physical health. My research paper will focus on injuries prevalent in teenage athletes and the effect that sports have on their bodies even later in life, not just in their teenage years. And I want to thank everybody that makes this class possible, and I'm so excited to see where it takes me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Peyton Krinsky, and my senior project will focus on the field of linguistics, more specifically second language acquisition. Basically, my goal for this project, stated very simply, is to create a self-study Spanish language program that is online and as user-friendly as possible, that kind of strays away from the typical classroom textbook vibe and has a more, individual feel to it. So that said, my learning stretch will consist of researching the ways in which the human brain acquires languages and using that information to create my own self-study Spanish program. Obviously, this is a very daunting task. Packing a lot of information into a vehicle that suits everyone is very difficult, so I would not be able to complete this project without the guidance of my mentors. I'm very fortunate to be able to work under two mentors. Dr. Ames Students, who is a professor of Spanish at Yale, and Dr. Lisa Marshall, who is a professor of Spanish at Duke. Both of them have a very sound knowledge of the language itself and also the best strategies for teaching it to as many different types of people as possible. Moving forward, my research paper will examine the structure of second language education in the American public school system. As many people know, it's a topic that's frequently criticized, and there's a lot of opinions about it in linguistic circles nowadays, so there's a lot of evidence, and it's a pretty controversial topic that I can find a lot of information on in order to write a pretty relevant research paper. So basically, the reason why I'm doing all this is because I feel like there's so much knowledge that comes from learning a second language that's kind of an undervalued, thing to acquire nowadays. A lot of Americans, from what I've researched so far, tend to think that they're incapable of learning a second language at a certain point in their life, or that it wouldn't really do them much good, given that English is the primary language. But my main purpose in doing this project is to kind of promote the opposite of that idea, so let anyone know that they can learn a second language and that it has some really important effects, especially in the contemporary world. So I want to thank everyone who's made this project possible and for everyone's support along the way.
Hi, I'm Joey Looney, and my senior project is on nature photography. My learning stretch will consist of developing my skills in nature photography through taking and editing photos that showcase Easton's natural spaces. My mentor for this project is Anne Dreiker. She is a photographer from Easton, and her professional knowledge will be very helpful in me learning the skills I need. My fieldwork will be me learning nature photography skills and then practicing in different natural spaces around Easton. And my research paper is going to explore the effect that photography has to evoke emotions. I'm really excited for this project because it meshes together two of my passions, photography and nature, and hopefully I'll be able to inspire people in Easton to appreciate nature more. So thank you.
Hello everyone, my senior project will be electrical engineering. I've always had a strong passion for math and problem solving, so engineering seemed like a great fit for me. The thing is though, is that the engineering field is so vast, so I wasn't really sure which field of study I wanted to pursue, so I'm hoping that senior project will help guide me in the right direction. My learning stretch will consist of developing the basic skills of an electrical engineer and applying them to create my own electrical project. My mentor's name is David Florence, and he is a manager at Florence Electric. My field will take place here at Florence Electric and will consist of learning the basic skills of an electrical engineer and then eventually using these skills to create some blueprints and then using the blueprints to create my own electrical project. The focus of my research paper will be about how the technology of electrical engineering has evolved over time and how this affects people in society. What I really want to get out of this project to see is if electrical engineering if electrical engineering is a career I want to pursue in the future, and if it's not, then I will get prior experience in engineering before entering college, which will be very beneficial towards me. Some challenges I may face along the way is that I have no prior experience in electrical engineering, so I'll be learning completely new skills and will be faced with many new challenges, so I'm hoping that I have enough time to get everything done. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm very excited to get started.
Hello, my name is Madeline Peckham, and for my senior project, I'm going to be focusing on climate change. My learning stretch will consist of taking action against climate change by establishing environmental consciousness within my own life, and in turn, spreading awareness about it within our community and how anyone can apply it as a part of their lifestyle. Now, I was lucky enough to find two mentors to guide me throughout this process, one of which is Tony Ann Morales. She is a researcher at UMass Amherst who focuses on climate change refugia, which basically is areas of land that are unaffected by climate change and able to withstand everything that climate change is doing to change our planet. My other mentor is Alan Fairbank, who is studying environmental law. He has credentials from Yale and Princeton, and I'm very excited to learn more about the policy side of climate change as well as the research aspect of it. My research paper topic will focus on climate change holistically, but more specifically on the areas of climate change that are exacerbated by man-made impacts. I think that's really crucial for my project and to implement solutions or small solutions that I research more on the impacts of climate change that are a causality from humans rather than the natural ebbs and flows within our environment. As climate change is an extremely complex topic, I think that it's important that I do try to focus it a little bit more. I'm really excited to take on this course. I've always been really passionate about the environment, but I have never had the time to put it at the forefront of my life, as high school is extremely hectic, especially at this time of year, but I'm super excited to see where this project can take me and to see if environmental science might eventually be a path that I like to take on when I move on to college in my future career. Now, some challenges that I see myself facing as I take on this project is going to be the politics of climate change. I think all of us do know that climate change can be extremely controversial, but I don't want to focus too much in on the politics of climate change, as I feel it'll take away from the overall purpose of my project. I'm just going in with the assumption that climate change is real and taking it from there. Just want to quickly say thank you for everyone who showed up here tonight, and I'm really excited to see where this takes us and to see how my peers do in this project as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Olivia Sato, and my senior project will be focusing on the fields of education and physics. My learning stretch will consist of evaluating different learning styles with the goal of writing and producing a set of educational videos in AP Physics 1 for students. I was originally inspired to take this class after taking AP Physics 1 as a student last year and struggling my way through a number of AP classes and falling back on supplemental resources that I found online. I'm sure that we've all heard of a number of them, such as Khan Academy or Crash Course, that students often turn to when they want to further their understanding. So I chose this project because I wanted to see how I could personally contribute as a recent previous student to the supplemental network. As you can see, the 2017 AP Physics 1 statistics are not looking good. It's the lowest 5 rate of all AP Physics tests, and luckily for us, recently it actually did rise up to 6.2% of students. But either way, it's a very daunting thing to face as a student, so I wanted to create a network that can uplift students who are facing this rather anxiety-inducing test. My research paper will be focusing on understanding the different learning theories about how students can take in and conceptualize and then synthesize information. And to do this, I'm going to be working with my mentor, Dr. John Stark from the Harvard Graduate School of Education, who actually specializes in how students conceptualize algebra. So since algebra is such an integral part of physics, I figured he would be the perfect mentor to help me understand how people learn, which I can then carry into my final product. The second part is my fieldwork, in which I'm going to be producing the set of educational videos. So this will challenge me to write, produce, and then also film, edit, all these kinds of things, even audience engagement on my platform of choice, which is YouTube. So that's definitely going to be a learning stretch for me. I originally chose this project because I want to be an educator, so I figured this would be the perfect way for me to tie my passions of physics and also education in sort of a 2019 lens. Some struggles that I anticipate facing are being able to wrap an entire year's curriculum into just a couple of AP unit summaries, and then also being able to meet as many students' needs as possible with broad videos. So thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Justin Shapiro, and for my senior project, my learning stretch will focus on working in the field of helping cancer patients by creating and managing a fundraising event. I'm going to be doing this by working with the Joe and Druzzi Foundation. This is a foundation that helps alleviate the stress that cancer patients are going through, kind of getting rid of more than that they already have, like getting rides to the hospital for treatments and paying for their medical expenses. This foundation was created by Joe and Druzzi. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, a former cancer survivor, and my mentor. So I'm really excited to be working with him and his foundation. So part of my field work will be setting up meetings with Joe and his team to kind of get an idea of how I want to work my event and tie it into his foundation. I will also be going to as many events as I can that the Joe and Druzzi Foundation runs, so I can kind of get an idea of what they do and how, and more of the work that they do for the cancer patients. So some challenges we may face is time management between me and Joe. Joe has a lot going on right now, running his foundation, and I think that using time between me and my after-school activities is going to be important. I know that running a fundraising event is a hard thing to do, but I think that with the help of Joe and his team, I'm up for the challenge, and thank you guys for coming out. I'm excited to get started.
Hello, my name is Rex Silverman, and this year for senior project, I will be focusing on running a record label with an emphasis on local musicians. My learning stretch will consist of using my own record label to expand the exposure of Massachusetts-based artists in the global marketplace. My fieldwork will consist of going to a studio called Union Sound, which is located in Somerville. My mentor is the owner of the studio. For our research paper, I will be focusing on switching the music industry from physical to digital, and how it affected artists and labels. Some of the challenges I think I'll face during the senior project will be public speaking, and it will also be it'll also be time management. I want to thank everyone for coming out. I'm excited to see how I developed during the senior project, and I'm excited to see how everyone else's senior projects developed. Thank you for your time once again.
Hi everyone, my name is Asher Thomas, and my senior project will focus on music production, and more specifically creating an alternative rock album from scratch. So my fieldwork for this project is going to focus on writing, recording, and producing the entire album, as I'm going to be doing everything in my basement. A little odd, but with the help of Broderick Flannery, my mentor, I don't mean to call him out, but with the help of him, I'll be learning everything basically from scratch. Broderick is the president of RepTech, his own company that focuses on lighting and sound design, and the previous stage manager of the All Around Tech Group. One of the big challenges I'm going to face with this project is coming up with an original sound, as that's one of the big things all artists face. Coming up with original sound is very difficult, as there are so many influences in music. My research paper, it's up there, but I'll mention it. It's going to revolve around the art of music production and all the various recording techniques that go into it. Specifically from the 80s to the early 2000s, as that's a really big time that really reflected with me. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming out, and one more.
Thanks. Hi guys, I'm Alexandra Sis. Most of you probably know me as Sasha, and my senior project revolves around political science and how that intersects with data analysis. So I'm pretty much your typical politically active Gen Zer, but I really thought that something neglected was how politicians might use this information for their own gain, as well as understanding why people align with certain ideologies stretching into their backgrounds. So my formal learning stretch will consist of analyzing voter behavior in relation to geographic and socioeconomic differences, as well as exploring how this data can be quantified and manipulated for political gain. So my research paper is going to take a look at the 2016 election, and I know some of you might be familiar with the Cambridge Analytica scandal, in which people's data was analyzed on platforms like Instagram and Facebook, and their data was stolen and then used to influence people into voting for a certain sphere or a certain party. And I want to certainly examine the ethicality of that, as well as the legalities of it, as well as seeing where that intersection is between people's backgrounds and why they vote a certain way they do. I'm hoping that with the help of my lovely mentor, Claire Cronin, she is a House of Representatives delegate, I'm hoping that analyzing her constituency and the way that she responds to their needs, as well as potentially visiting town halls in rural parts of Massachusetts and liberal parts of Vermont, might help me understand the way ideologies pertain to certain groups of people, and ultimately understanding what has led to America's severe divide and polarization. So thank you for coming on this journey with me, and I hope you enjoyed tonight. I understand that not everyone can be Greta Thunberg, but I'm certainly going to try. So thank you for coming. Thanks.
Stand in front so everyone can see you. So this is everybody. And give me a clap one more time. I'm pretty obsessed with Mr. Rogers. This is really random. I'm really obsessed with Mr. Rogers. I just love his message of kindness and listening to one another. And when I think about my classroom, in the middle of it, I have this table. And in the table, I took one of my kids' trolleys. So I took it from them, which they didn't want until I took it. So I have a trolley in the middle, and it's just a symbol of my classroom as a neighborhood. And I think that this group in particular, year after year, really embodies what that means to be a neighborhood and looking out for one another and seeing one another for who they are, and giving advice when they're not feeling so confident about what's going on, and celebrating the successes. It's interesting with this group, because I teach a lot of different classes. There's no group that gels more than this one. Which is interesting because they're all doing their own thing, so you think that wouldn't be the case. But my own theory is because they're all going through these universal things together, and they're all bouncing ideas off of each other together. And with that, what comes out of this is really something beautiful for each student. So thank you very much for coming. We very much appreciate it. Feel free to hang out. Our kids are going to go back to their boards, and feel free to talk to them about what you just heard. There's the digital portfolio station in the back. Just hit the space bar, and you can pull up any of those digital portfolios. And down the road, I will let you know when final presentations will be. With that, thank you very much, everybody, for coming to Community Night. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
My name is Sasha Zis, and my project is about analyzing data within the political science field and seeing why people align with certain ideologies or why they vote a certain way. So this is my board. My main purpose is going to be exploring people's backgrounds, so I want to travel to rural parts of Massachusetts, more urban parts of Vermont, and seeing how people that vary economically, geographically, might have different inclinations to vote in a certain way, and why variables in their backgrounds might influence them to do so. So I'm going to be working with the House of Representatives looking at their voting, which is super helpful, and I'm really excited to see how she represents her constituency and how her constituency varies across the political spectrum. And I'm also really excited to see how this data is used within social media platforms like Facebook and how it's extrapolated by politicians and campaigns and then how they use that data to influence people to vote for them or use targeted advertising. So what this really means to me is just I'm a politically passionate person, and seeing how divided our nation has become really upsets me. I think that at our core we're all the same, and we need to really understand that. And so I think that if I can understand why people are different in the way that they vote, I might be able to understand what makes them the same, and then I can help kind of bend that polarization.
Hello, my name is Justin. My senior project, I'm going to be working with the Joe New Jersey Foundation to create a fundraising event. I'll be doing this by working with my mentor Joe. He is the creator of the Joe New Jersey Foundation. I'm excited to get started. Got a lot of good ideas coming for my event. Hoping to raise a lot of money for them and help them out any way I can.
Hi, I'm Joey Looney, and my senior project is on nature photography. So I've always had a passion for photography, but I've never really been able to pursue it and in depth learn specific camera settings and stuff and skills, editing and taking pictures. I've really just figured stuff out, and nature is also one of my passions. I love being in nature, and so this project is going to let me combine those two things. And with nature photography, I'm going to focus in on Easton and create a set of photos that showcase Easton's natural spaces and hopefully inspire people to go out into nature and appreciate the beauty of Easton. So I'm really excited.
Hi everyone, my name is Asher Thomas. For my senior project, I'm focusing on music production. For music is that thing that really binds me and everyone else really together, as we all listen to different genres, but every genre really connects us all because music is the big thing that we all really love. I'm going to be focusing on writing, recording, and producing an album. And is that good? Yeah. I hope to see where it takes us.
Hello, my name is Matthew Noslick, and my senior project will be electrical engineering. I've always had a strong passion for math and problem solving, so I thought engineering would be a great fit for me. I potentially want to pursue electrical engineering in college, so senior project will really help me determine if this is a career I want to pursue in the future, and if not, I'll have experience in this field of study before entering college, which will be very beneficial towards me. So I'm very excited to get started and see where this project takes me.
Hi, my name is Olivia Santo, and my senior project will be producing
Okay, and then also please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Olivia Sato Physics.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Badrin, and for my senior project, I'll be partnering with the Syrian refugee camp in Lebanon in order to explore foreign relations and raise funds for those who are living in a land that is foreign to themselves, so they have to adapt to a whole lifestyle.
Hi, my name is Untitled Chapter. My senior project focuses on jazz composition. So basically, over the course of the year, I'm going to be learning from scratch how to compose my own music, and then at the end, I'm going to be recording an album with my band, showcasing my best work, and I can't wait to see what this takes me.
Hi, my name is Madeline Peckham, and for my senior project, I'm going to be focusing on climate change. Now, senior project is a great opportunity for students at Oliver Ames to take on a course that is completely catered to themselves and so unique to them. And for me, senior project is something that's going to allow me to prepare myself for possibly a future career in environmental science, but also make me a more environmentally conscious human being and feel more comfortable in my day-to-day life knowing that I'm not part of the reason that our planet is dying.
Hello, my name is Brett Silverman, and my senior project is running a record label with an emphasis on local artists. Senior project means a lot to me because I get to focus my time specifically on something that I wouldn't really do outside of school, which is national space artists, because they're really hard to find. So I'm excited to spend time in class and get to work.
Hello, my name is Peyton Krinsky. My senior project focuses on linguistics, more specifically second language education. So basically what I'm trying to do is create a self-study Spanish language program that is online and has kind of the lowest amount of curriculum feel as possible. I don't want it to feel like you're being forced to read a textbook or forced to memorize vocabulary. I want it to feel natural, and I want it to feel as plausible as possible, and I'm going to do that by implementing a lot of immersion supplements. And basically why I'm doing this project is because I feel that today a lot of Americans feel that they're incapable of learning new languages, or that it's way out of their realm, or they don't have the capacity to complete such a daunting task. So my project really aims to instill a sense of, I guess, global citizenship in contemporary Americans by reminding them that you are capable of learning second languages no matter where you are in your educational settings.